What is up, everybody? Good morning and happy Thursday. It is December 21st, and we are coming at you right here on Piper Academy live every Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I missed you guys. I'm back. I'm back from my vacation. It's time to hang out with the alumni and my co-host and give you guys alpha every day. That's what my plan is. We did have some movement. Yesterday, S&P, don't know if you heard or not, broke a new all-time high. I believe that's what it was. And we're going to be talking about that in a minute. But right afterwards, massive dump on the markets there. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to take a look at what came in today on GDP and what's making the markets move today. And then we're going to do a lot of TAs. So without any further ado, guys, I don't do this all by myself. I actually have my two co-hosts, that's right, two, OC Guy and Trey Fly. What's up, fellas? How you doing?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to doing some news and hitting some charts with you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Trade Fly is going to be a regular on here every day. Let us know how the volume is across the board. OC, go ahead and give us a sound check with a greeting for the alumni out there, and let's make sure that we've got good level volume because I can fix all that on my end. We did not have a chance to do that, so go ahead, OC.
Absolutely. So, welcome everybody, and great to have you guys around here. Also, Trey, welcome to the team, brother. And let's see a teleportation high five right there. So, high five.
Yep.
So
That's
there
a
you go.
great way.
Oh, yeah, the other
It's
way
hard with
around.
these.
There you
We're
go.
gonna have to do like a Brady Bunch thing going on here, like we're just looking back and forth
It's
at
gonna
each
be
other.
our new intro music is gonna be the Brady Bunch.
I like
Yeah.
it. Guys in the chat there, let us know. We appreciate you being here. Eric Wallen said it is the Brofecta. So there you go. Guys, what did you guys see in the news and stuff? I know that Tradefly, we were talking about the S&P a little bit before the show. Like what was the cause I was traveling, man. I was flying. So like what happened yesterday with the S&P exactly? Can you break that down for us a little bit in a summarized version?
Yeah, so big summary is that thing is getting up near all-time highs again, but then we had a massive pullback. About $600 billion was just pulled from the market almost instantly. And that, kind of makes sense. When things get up near all-time high, there's probably a lot of people that are going to start taking, some of those gains that they've made. And so there was no big surprise that people were cashing out essentially. And I probably would have done the same if I had a lot
Yeah.
invested in the S&P.
Yeah, nobody's ever gone broke taking profit, man. So that's what I think a
Nah.
lot of happened was there. And I actually think that what might have actually triggered it, it might have been some scheduled large scale sell-offs. Like if we hit this level,
Yep.
start selling, taking some profit. And that was such a large institution or a large group of people, whoever it was, whichever it was, that it triggered a fallback. And some people had, if it trails, if it does a 2% pullback on growth, sell off,
Mhm.
so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
just
you
think
can
that
set
what
it up that
happened
way.
is, yeah, I think that's what happened is that we just literally had a waterfall effect of sell off that, as I said yesterday, a waterfall of blood just poured down into the streets. And it seemed to have caught a little bit of catch and is starting to rebound, but that's on some data that we have coming in today. OC, you got anything to put in on that S&P, or should I go ahead and jump into some economic data and talk about what's going to be moving the markets today and why we said on the thumbnail, incoming dump or incoming pump, I should say. Pump incoming, that's what it said. OC, you got anything on that, bro?
I got prepared, but let me pull up my charts right after you all talk about the economic data. We can start with the S&P 500, and then we throw it
Okay.
back to some important points.
Awesome. Sounds great, man. Elo Brown saying, good morning, alumni. Hey, good morning to everyone, man. Glad to have you guys here. Let's go ahead and jump over into the news. Taking a look here, guys, on the Coin Gecko. Come on, there we go. Get this in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we had for the past 24 hours on Bitcoin, down about 0.2% past hour, getting a little rebound. Ethereum starting to get a little rebound. Nothing big. Alex O Crypto, welcome, bro. Glad to have you here. Otter Gang in the house. Getting a little bit of a 10%, or 0.1% pull up there. BNB not looking good. Had a nice run yesterday, but now they're starting to pull back as this cooling off of them. I do have faith in BNB. I have faith in what Binance is going to do, but it's weird to see Binance trading so inverse to what all the other cryptos are doing. Like BNB a pump, everything else is going down. Crypto goes down, BNB goes up. It's weird. Solana, we have a lot of news to talk about on Solana. Yeah, I see that with TradeFly. Let me see if I can fix TradeFly there. Why is TradeFly looking not so fly? Um, he sent me a background. There it is. That one? Is that the one? There you go.
It's
I got
not,
you,
but I'm gonna
TradeFly.
take it. Look
I
at that. I
got
got a
you.
beautiful
I
house.
gave you a
Hey,
fly ass house, TradeFly.
there it is, man. I'm moving.
Taking a look here, XRP up about 1/10% today. What else do we have? That was big movers. Avalanche down almost 1% after a very, very hot run. 14.5% in the past 7 days, right there. 3.6 for the past 24 hours. Polkadot had a good run yesterday, 8.5%, starting to cool off a little bit here too. So that's what I'm seeing on there. But guys, what's moving stuff today is going to be this right here. This is the economic data, and we had a GDP report today. That is our growth. That is the economy's strength of sales, imports, and exports, guys. This is a huge indicator. Remember what really caused the entire talk and discussion about being in recession was that we had two negative GDPs. Well, previously we were at 2.1. And I told you guys, if we come out and we crush this number here, we would be absolutely rocketing because 5.2, being greater than 5.2, would be amazing. We actually came in just a little bit below it, but still more than double the previous quarterly GDP because this is ranked and graded in 3-month increments, okay? Yeah, it's T-Shroom in the house. He said, the squad. What's up there, T-Shroom? Good to have you, man. So that did come in a little bit lower than what it was expected, but way higher than what it previously was. Taking a look here at the price index, because that's the growth rate. The price index, 1.7% previously, said it was going to be about 3.5% on forecast and a consensus. We actually did get a report print at about 3.3 in the ballpark of that 3.5. But initial jobless claims, guys, no matter what's going on with the economy, we can't seem to lose the jobs that they think we're going to lose. Every time it turns around, um, labor force is strong. And why that is a problem is because it means that they still are spending money. Now, luckily, rates are keeping people from getting in the demand levels up and spending all that money buying stuff, right? Because that's what creates inflation, supply and demand. But what I will point out is that it does give indication that with this quarter GDP, so just so you know, a strong GDP and a strong labor force, while rates are not going up, means soft landing. That's what that means. I think that we're going to see a pump today off of this. Give it time for the markets to get moving here, but I do think we are going to see a pump today in the markets, and we're going to be taking a look at the charts. That's why I did that thumbnail. That's why I'm telling you about it, because it's things that you guys need to know. And I think that's it for here. Yeah, that's it here, guys. Let's go ahead and jump out of here. Let's go to Trio Cam. And let's get into some charts. OC, you said you wanted to start with some S&P. You just saw the economic data that I was talking about. You saw the job numbers. You obviously heard me say all of these things mean soft landing and that we should have movements today. OC, are we seeing movements in the charts today?
We are seeing a couple of movements here, but I mean, on the S&P 500, we can see that wasn't such a big movement. In fact, I was double checking the data because we can see a previous topping here, but we see that healthy movement on the markets. I mean, remember that you also called for people losing their jobs. Sadly, it's good for the economy because we've been seeing that economy kind of like moving upwards when we see that vertex. But I mean, good for the markets and not the economy. Um, but we do see a couple of things moving, which it's gonna end up being a couple of things breaking. Perspective, and let's go to a little bit more complex chart. We can see here that we having that healthy market going up in here. What it does worries me a lot. It is going to be the S&P 500 that we were talking about, basically getting to the previous zone that we have a couple of years ago at 21. Here we go. Wednesday, 29th of December, basically getting for that double top. So that is kind of like a dangerous, because yes, we just broke around that, above that zero line on the oscillator, which it's cool, but we need to stay above of this bar, of this area, of this channel for us to consolidate that market structure and maybe a continuation on the market. So seeing it as a pullback, yes, very, very possibly, especially right here on daily, we see that overbought, flipping down. And if the indicators, like for example, we can do, and let's go over here our setup. Here we go. We can start seeing also the squeeze momentum, or RSI prime, showing us that we are on the vertex of that possible pullback. And yes, we can see it on the 4 hour. So, I mean, that little move, of course, is to be expected after a bull run, or after a very bullish run. But so far, I do expect a couple of things pulling back for a little bit. So, I'm going to be keeping my eyes glued to the screen. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that for traditional markets, that what I see.
So
So, like,
something
here's
that
the
I'm
question.
watching.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Trey Flag. Take it, brother. And then
No, I
I'll
just
go
got
into
I guess
Dixie
a
next. I'm
question,
going to talk
really.
about the Dixie. Go for it.
Yeah,
What's your
because
questions?
we're looking at this and we're looking at the TA and we see, hey, we're expecting kind of a pullback, but we got great news coming out this morning. So at what point do we just throw this news out and we're looking at retesting this all-time high? That's where we always get into this tricky game with TA versus the news.
Right. So here's the deal. Fundamental analysis always has a vote in the world of technical analysis. It doesn't matter what the indicators are telling you. Like, we could have everything set up for bullishness right now. RSI is all the way down, bullish zone, looks like it's ready to pump and explode. I don't care what indicators you're using, whether it's market cipher, whether it's chart prime. You could have the double waves, Jason Casper's offset uneven butt cheeks, like everything is lined up. We are about to explode, right? And if news comes out, that they ETFs denied and Bitcoin banned, I don't care what the indicators are telling you. The fundamental analysis on that takes charge, right? It's got a bigger vote. It's a
Right.
weighted vote. Fundamental analysis has a weighted vote on price action versus when in comparison to technical analysis. So, um, that
And that,
being
yeah, that's
said, I think right now we have a lot of bullish fundamental analysis news. I really do. We've got the ETF. We've got the indicators coming out from the economic side saying, hey, we're looking at a soft landing. I think when you compare all of that together and you take a look at what the charts are saying, these pullback moments, they're opportunity knocking on your door. That's what I think. That's just my
right.
opinion. So,
And that's kind of why I like pose that question, because one of the things I always like to point out to people is sometimes you get this mix, and some people are very much tied to the charts. That's like that's all they believe. They're like, just follow the charts, everything else doesn't matter. And then I'm always like, dude, you gotta consider the news, because something like the S&P 500 highly dependent on some of the news that comes out, and like you have to basically bring in some of that news into your technical analysis and then see when it lines up with what you're seeing on the charts. And that's when I like to make plays.
it's real simple. Here's how you survive the markets. Are you ready? You learn technical analysis. You know how to do this, and you look for those times when it's time to get in at the bottom and, sell it when you're getting towards resistance, take some profit, right? That's what you do there. That's your technical analysis part. Then you have your fundamental side. And for that, all you do is you tune in to Piper Academy and Investing Bros and Alex O Crypto, and you get all of this data that you need to have to put in line with your technical analysis. And now you have a full spectrum of knowledge because knowledge is profit. So there you go. I had to take that
There it
advantage.
is.
All right, guys, let's
There it
get into
is.
some other TA. OC, you got anything? You got a take on that? Like, in comparison to fundamental analysis and technical analysis, where do we sit? Like, which one do you have more of a weighted perspective of?
All right, so I do have kind of like a mismatch. I'm always looking for that break or make news, right? For me, the fundamental analysis is very important, but tend to lean a little bit more for technical analysis, and that is just because of my background formation. As you might guys already know, I'm an architect. I come from data, geometrics, so on and so forth. So that is what I feel the most comfortable with, and I also believe that that is a big part of success being grabbing where your strength and weakness and combining them to get a little bit more balanced outcome. So what I do there is I rely very heavily on my technical skills, and then I look for that break or make news. And depending on what happens there, I'll be head switching or even changing my position and my opinion on the market. Because remember, as every day passes, we're gonna be having new data. That being said, on the technicals and fundamentals, and it
Yep.
is not wise not to evolve with that new data. So yeah, that is my take on between those two.
Absolutely. And I the final thing I want to say is, guys, the longer that news has been around on something, it's got a half-life. News has a half-life. The weighted value of it starts to degrade. For example, ETF news. ETF news it's baked in both sides. The bears about it, the ones that think it's not going to happen, they've already baked it in to their sell-off pressure, and the bulls have already baked it into the buying pressure. Until it gets approved, it's noise right now at this point for me. That's me personally. I think ETF news, unless something comes out that it's approved or denied, is just noise at this point. I don't consider that to have the same weighted value as a new article that no one has talked about. Like for example, when they came out and said, "Hey, they changed it from in kind from this to that on the ETF." I can't recall right now, but yeah, I think that over time that value starts to degrade. So, yes,
Yeah.
90% of the time I'm looking at TA. When I saw the daily divergence on Bitcoin and said buy back in December of last year, and we put it out in the chart prime community, that absolutely was the point to buy the lowest that had been that entire time. So, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this TA. I'm going to pull up Dixie here. We're going to take a look at what's going on with the Dixie creating a double bottom, and then Tradefly, can you take a look at Link? And take a look at what Alex O Crypto, the Otter Gang in here, talking about Link retest breakout coming. And then he also said that today's special is Mexican spaghetti. So this go ahead gets into this chart. And again, Tradefly does not have the backdrop. Look, I'm gonna eventually get you on every single scene that I have so that you are in your house on all of them. Taking a look at the US dollar here, guys. You can see that we've got a nice pullback here that happened in the past. It's literally the past 8 hours. Actually, not even 8 hours fully, because we just hit the new one at 5 this morning with this data coming out from the GDP, and we are now creating a double bottom here. If we break this double bottom, I do believe that we are going to be heading down to at least this 101.50 range, in line with the trade bands of the predictive ranges there. So I'm going to be watching for that. One thing of interest here, guys, you see this right here on the 4 hour. These candles on the MVP oscillator indicate bottoms, and typically when we get these, Chart Prime's amazing algorithm and developers, they've nailed this movement cycle that occurs. Like if we go over here, take a look, you can see bottom, big green candles, bottom, right? We had these are no cluster. There's no cluster there, but we got a cluster here. We got a cluster here. We got a cluster here. We had a cluster here. We have no green candles. This tells me that we're likely going down further before we start hitting bottoms. The MVP oscillator from Chart Prime is not picking up anything. Also, the RSI Prime, we're just now at the 30% line. I still think we have a lot more room to go. We can go all the way down to the 7s and 8s, and we typically do. And also, our signal line just turned red. So I do believe the Dixie's going to be coming down today. And that is going to be more fuel in my belief that we're going to have some market moves to the upside today. So that's what I got for the Dixie. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. Gold also moving up today because the Dixie is losing its strength, and the futures, right, you can see right over here, up 0.6, almost 0.7% on the US 30. Dow Jones, ES1 up over 0.8%, and the NASDAQ up almost 0.9%. The futures on the traditional market is moving. I do believe we're going to continue seeing that. But let's go ahead and take a look at one of those things, and that is going to be Chainlink. Shout out to Alex O Crypto for pointing this out. TradeFly, go ahead and take TradeLink. OC, do pull up what you want to do next. We'll rotate back to you, and then we'll go through with one more favorite from each other's charts. And then, guys, in the chat, let us know what you'd like to see. We're going to try to focus the second, at least the second third, the last third of the 3/3 of the show on your guys' request in the chat. So start dropping in the chat what you guys want to see. TradeFly, take off.
Right
You cleared
on.
the
Yeah. So
takeoff,
I got
bro.
Chainlink pulled up here. So there's a couple important levels that I would have been looking at. It seems to be like we're kind of in a range, honestly. So looking at about 13.9 was a nice area of support there. You'll see that with the green line. And then you have another area of resistance at about 15.3. So talking about the breakout, what I think Alex is actually talking about, maybe this trend line here that's kind of down and right indicated by the orange line. Looks like we've broken out from that trend. So it looks like we're getting some movement up, but if I was looking at the chart personally, I would be highly concentrated on this area at about 15.3. I think we're probably going to find a little resistance there initially. Now, do we come back down, retest this trend line here, and then get that continuation to the upside? I think that could be very possible, and that's kind of what I would be looking at as well. So let's go ahead and look down at some of the indicators. Now, for me personally, looking at this horizontal level of support, you can see you had multiple touch points on that, right? So that kind of gives you the warm and fuzzy that you have a relatively strong level of support. But then
Hold
what you can
on.
see here,
Hold that thought. Guys, we just hit our 500th subscriber live on the air. So shout out to InvestaShare, number 500. Congratulations. Alumni, we're growing. We're going to keep growing. So I
let's
appreciate you.
go.
I appreciate you guys all being here in the 500th subscriber. So congratulations. We as a team together, the three of us, were live when we hit our 500th. So go ahead and continue that thought, man. I just wanted to get that out. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no worries. That's awesome. Cool. So looking at that, all right. So we had that support level, and then coming down to the indicators itself, you can see an up and right trend on the prime oscillator as well. You also come down, you start looking at the money flow, and you can see that that was also or now trending up and right. So all indications to me would say that, yeah, we're going to continue probably some up and right momentum. But what I'm looking at really, I would say my line in the sand, that's kind of my thing that I like is let's give you some firm numbers that I would concentrate on. 15.3 is it. And that is because if you're looking left, I always like to go left on the chart. You see resistance, support, resistance, 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 right? So you see it hitting multiple times. That's when I start saying, hey, this is obviously a very important area. And then the other thing that is kind of a giveaway for me is you'll see it come down and test the support, but then you see a really big drop. That's the one when I'm like, yep, this is one of those key areas. So for me, that's what I'm looking at short term. What do you guys got?
Yeah, I can see that on Chainlink also. I'm super bullish on Chainlink, dude. Super bullish on Chainlink. Matter of fact, that trend line breakout there, absolutely a good call on that. Who made that call? Was it Alex?
That was Alex O. Yep.
Alex O. Yep. That the otter. The otter. We love the otter. Yeah, I think I'm super bullish. And I think Chainlink guys, okay, not financial advice. NFA moment. I think we're gonna see I think we're going to see Chainlink do its biggest move ever because right now, especially with the Swift stuff that's going on, they for those that don't know what Chainlink does, Chainlink takes Web 2 data, for example, scores from a football game or whatever, or the actual currency exchange rate from Web 2 from an exchange, and puts it onto blockchain. So it is a bridge from Web 2 to Web 3 data portal. Okay, that's what it's an oracle. That's what they do. So I think that with what we're seeing right now, with a lot of this stuff moving over to the blockchain, how are you going to do something for international monetary transfers without having real true data? Kyle called it in our Discord. That's what he said. Oh, that's InvestaShares. Sweet. Investa shares. You made a great call, and you were number 500, dude. You're like my new favorite teacher's pet at the alumni. So, that's a great call. So, without having that Oracle data coming from Web 2 over to Web 3, it's going to make very difficult for this institutional adoption into blockchain technology, right? Because blockchain doesn't contain real time scores. They are historical, right? They don't have real time exchange rates. You need oracles for that, and that's why I'm super bullish on Chainlink. I think you're going to see Chainlink have one of its best runs yet this year with the institutional adoption going on. So, OC, what chart do you have? And I've been taking a track here of who wants what, and we will go over that stuff afterwards. But OC, kicking it over to you, bro.
Absolutely. You know what else has been taking out and is having a great day? And you wouldn't guess what is it? BNB. Yesterday we were talking about BNB and a very important news about Binance. Guys, you already know that I do have some investment in Binance. I'm trying to migrate from Binance to some other places, which I have, but I'm still big invested on Binance. Not financial advice, guys. Remember that my loyalty is with my money and not with exchanges. All right. So also, again, not financial advice, but you need to take care of your money. Although, seeing Binance just taking the right actions at the right moment, we can see they are taking the punishment like a good boy, right? Going for that payment of $2 billion. Also, CC stepping out as a CEO and also paying their debt to the I believe FCC. I don't quite remember what was the organism exactly that required that payment, but they're doing things right. They're building up, and I believe if they start making things or keep making things correctly, they are gonna be coming out alive, and not only alive, they're gonna be well positioned. Because let me bring this up before I go into the analysis in here. It is what happened with FTX. So we can see things going bad, really fast, and we haven't seen that same pattern on Binance. So yeah, that's why I'm keeping an eye and a track on Binance. I'm looking for a place to re-entry. Yesterday, we were right here breaking through this support, and I was telling you guys that we could be looking at this little goose formation that we were seeing here, and look at what had happened with that goose formation. Basically a pull up in here. I was expecting a pull up to go over to this next resistance zone, and maybe having a pull down here to either this section, or this section. It seems like we are going up with some strength, going through this resistance, and then keep going up. All right, so far I'm not chasing after the prices. Let me clean this up, this Mexican spaghetti. Too early for that breakfast, right? And then I'm gonna be looking for that verdict,
Spaghetti for
and
breakfast.
exactly, and looking for that possible symmetrical bull flag that we've been seeing it forming over and over and over. And then after I see that, and of course the next flip of the ribbon to the upside, that will be my indication for a entry. Remember, flip of the ribbon at support. So I'm still looking at daily 265 zone, and also at whatever I'm gonna be readjusting for that. But look at that. I really want to have that pullback, because look at where is the next zone. And let me draw this box in here, guys. Look at that beautiful empty space. I mean, almost empty. We only have one resistance here, which is right where we are now. So that's exactly what I'm expecting, that possible pullback, and getting some fuel to completely demolish to the next VPVR spike or to the next daily resistance. So it's looking great. Viper, I'm gonna go over Bitcoin very quick, because we were pulling out some stuff talking that we were talking together. Remember, we were breaking through this trend line and also this trend line, and this is my possible entry scenario number one, number two, and number three. So I did enter with number three, and right now we are back at the same zone, this little channel here. So guys, be careful with Bitcoin. I'm not saying that we're going to be plummeting or even rocketing. I'm just saying be careful. Just take a look at your oscillator. we do have that strength because we are above the zero line to keep pushing forward, but we're getting into big resistance zone. So that's what I got. In the meantime, I also will love to go over wood near, but that's gonna be after a couple of other intakes that you guys might have for us.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Investa shares here. He said he caught the confirmation yesterday on BNB, and that its market cap is going to double from this break. I like I said, I think Binance is going to be just fine, and BNB is going to be what it runs on to do that. And then he said, zoom out on the daily, dudes. We broke 1080 plus daily resistance. Investor shares, is that in regards to BNB? Do either of you know what he's referencing there on the zoom out on the daily? What chart is he still talking about?
Yeah, I
BNB.
I'd
believe
have
he's
to
talking
I'd have to
about
take a look.
BNB.
All right.
And let me clear up that spaghetti. We do have a confluence resistance in here, the same zone that we were talking about yesterday on the pre-recorded section, and that is a huge resistance. And also, I think he's also looking at this empty space after that resistance breakthrough. So just with that heads up, guys, because sometimes when we break the previous high, remember the third is the charm. It kind of like teases you a little bit, falls back, and then grabs some fuel to keep pushing up. But just
Yeah, I would
wait
say
for that possible pullback.
I would
All
say that
right.
one's kind of tough. Like zooming out, looking at the daily on BNB at least, I would say we're like at resistance. So just for the way I like to kind of look at some of the horizontal lines of support and resistance, significant area right where we are right now. There's kind of this zone between 268 to about 258. Somewhere around there is kind of where I see a very significant area of resistance. We break through that, yeah, I think it can really take off.
Just a
Um,
little helping tip for your trade fly. Like when you're going to be looking at BNB, you should probably do it on Binance so you have more of the historical data because BingX, they
yeah,
just have since they've had it listed, and that's
okay,
more for the audience watching too, just so that they know. It's what exchange you look at it on is going to give you the history. For example, like Bitcoin, I try to use Bitstamp anytime I can in history for historicals. So.
yeah, right
Uh,
on.
Yep, no problem. I just wanted to share that. I saw it on yours, so I figured I'd share it with the community too.
Yeah,
Get that
I've
info out
defaulted to
there.
using kind of the exchange I've been using, so that's a
Yeah,
fair
yeah. Well,
point.
that's good if you're trading. That's good if you're trading on it for
Yeah,
sure. Absolutely, that it matters. So yeah, you're seeing that there is a point of double top resistance here. Is what it's looking like to me. But we
yeah, right in
did
this
get a
area.
beautiful breakout call on the chart prime
Oh
chart
yeah, you see
patterns
that
there.
down here, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and jump over into buy request, the ES1. We had a request for that from, I believe it was Steve H. So, Steve, here's your ES1. And then OC, actually, Tradefly, you can wrap it up next into something. And then we also have a request for Matic. So, if one of you guys want to grab Matic, let me know.
Perfect. Too.
Roger.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. From the all-time high, still talking about BNB. Okay, so your invested answer said he was still talking about BNB from the all-time high. That's what he was referring to on the daily resistance coming down from that point. So I guess there's a long-term daily, maybe diagonal resistance there we should take a look at some point, but not right now. Taking a look at the ES1 here, guys, we can see on the 4-hour here. ES1, for those that don't know, it is a futures for the S&P 500. We did have a strong buy indicator that triggered way back here in November, the beginning of November of this year. And from that point, we ran all the way up, giving us multiple touches along the trend assistant there and giving us some, little bounces and pushes up. Guys, we hit max profit. You see that MP right there? That means max profit. There was a take profit. There was a take profit. We went sideways for a long time. Finally broke this 4606 resistance, got through there, and it continued up. We had a little bit of resistance here on the upper resistance band of the chart prime predictive ranges, and then we hit a max profit. That max profit triggering right there on that green candle. If we look and see what happened next, well, we got a sell indication off of this one here. But something that I want to point out, and this is why I said the S&P I think is going to be okay. Guys, look Look what we're getting on the MVP oscillator already. We're already triggering bottom indication, just like we did back here. We had a nice pullback there, hit it, got the green, pumped up. If you look over here, we had a pull down, hit it, went back up, right? Not that much. That was over exaggerated. Went back up. We had it here again. Little pullback. Got it back up. Guys, we just had that trigger again, and it looks like we're getting ready to get this rounding here of the wave here. Let's go check some of the other oscillators on the ES1. And let's get into the Prime Oscillator Pro. Yeah, there's 3 oscillators in here, just so you guys know. Let's see what it's telling us. Yeah, we're getting ready to get that flip of the ribbon there also coming out from the bottom there, guys. We've got green Heikin-Ashi candles. They're not getting too fat yet, but I'm not seeing any decent wicking on it either. There's a little tiny wick there, but you can see when we've been this low and we've gone green, that has led to movements up. So right there, we had a little movement up. I think this is going to be okay if we can get past this 47.92. $44,792.75 to be exact. That is going to be this upper resistance band that was also previous resistance back here. We're on it again, and I think that based on what I'm seeing on 2 different oscillators plus the RSI Prime and the fact that we're getting curvature on the signal ribbon here for the Ichimoku oscillator, I think that we're going to see this continue up. I'm not overly concerned. This sell-off yesterday just giving everybody a little bit of profit, taking off of these previous ranges that we had. Let's go back, way back. How far back? Pretty far back. Back here in this area here, we broke this, and so that's what we had there. Let's get rid of all of my Mexican spaghetti because I don't serve as good of Mexican spaghetti as OC does. So let's get this off here. There we go. You can see that was, we broke the previous high. Little liquidity grab and down it came. That previous high coming all the way back here in 4 January 2022. So that's what I'm seeing on ES1. That's the range I would be watching, is that 4,700 range that I told you. Where's that at exactly? Let me get that again. Can you pull that up for me, please? Thank you very much. That is going to be in that $4,792, almost $4,800 range. We get back above that, I'm looking for more upside, especially based on what I'm seeing on all the oscillators and the RSI Prime below. So that is what I have there. Who's got Matic up? Which one of you got it? Which one of you got it?
I got it.
OC, take it, bro. Run with it. And then TradeFly, go ahead and pull up what you want to do next. We're just going to rotate through here, guys. Again, if you have anything that you want to see us do in the on the TA side, drop it here in the chat.
Perfect. So let's roll it up. I'm going to try to speed through it because I also want to pass it to TradeFlight. I want to see what he's got for us. Look at that. So first of all, let's get started with the daily. I want to see a little bit of what is cooking in here. Even weekly, we can see something like we also saw on Binance. So let's go over weekly just to give it a little look. And as you can see the same pattern with that possible double top, all right? But if I start using this as a possible pull and then also start charting this little formation, there's a little chance that we could be forming a bull symmetrical flag, all right? So that will be very bullish if we can find support somewhere around the 0.76 section, all right? Just remember, this is weekly. We are very far away. So let's start zooming in with on right here on daily. So on daily, I think we can see a little bit more of that structure, and also you can see where is that big confluence zone. Where are my spikes? Well, first spike in here, second spike here, and third spike in here. So we can see that we could also be forming maybe an M pattern or a double top pattern. So what's going to be defining the breakout or the make it or break it? It's going to be this section in here where I have my EMAs along with my dynamic reactor. So the confluence that I'm having here, it's right now in here, and I want to see this one, the oscillator flipping up, maybe making a little fake out or even flipping back down. Let's take a look at the bearish potential, what the bearish potential it has, just so we are preparing here. The bearish potential is that we are breaking through that zero line, and if we can break in here, or sorry, if we can bounce in here, we could be forming a dead cat bounce and then breaking to the next big support, which TP number 1 will be here and TP number 2 could be right here. How can we know? Well, we're be by taking a look at our RSI prime. So far, I don't have any small hiking Asia candles, so I could be having that continuation. So I could be going like that and then making that a dead cat bounce. So if you see that bounce, just be careful, because when I start also turning on my patterns and trend line, let's take a look at my trend lines there. Just for good reference, I am forming what previously we were talking about, that possible bullish symmetrical flag. All right, so this is going to be important. Right now, we are at a big support. We need to take that into consideration, but also look at where the next big resistance is, and also where is the next big support is. So if we make it, we need to make sure we break through that order block. Otherwise, we're going to be confirming the dead cat bounce, and most likely we're going to be reversing below the zero line, therefore going to hit some important targets at 0.6618. So if you're looking to enter, not financial advice, not financial advice. If you're looking to enter, you should be looking at this section with a flip of the ribbon for a possible trigger. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. All right, and then possible TP number one, and then as we break through and go up, this could be your re-entry. If we bounce from this one, this is going to be again your next possible entry, or your next possible entry. Not financial advice. You need confirmation with the prime oscillator and also with the RSI prime. So we need to start seeing those green candles for a beautiful long, as we've seen in the I got for Matic so far on daily. 4 hour, we're still critical, because we are ranging. So also just keeping an eye in there. So as we break above, I want to see a big movement, and again a retrace again with that dead cat bounce. So this is imminent, guys. Just be careful with a possible dead cat bounce. That is going to be my main concern against Matic becoming again bullish and in an important way.
Awesome. Awesome. Tradefly, what you got, brother? And then I'm going to be going in and doing some Solana because I'm seeing something on the Solana chart here. So, Tradefly, kicking it over to
Oh,
you,
that's
man.
hilarious. Guess what I had up?
Oh, well, then
Solana.
take it. Take it. No, run with it.
Nah, it's
And
cool.
then
You know what? We can
I can
tie it in
add to it.
together.
That's right.
Yeah,
Go
so
with it.
I'll take this kind of a top level approach, and then I'll kind of let you kind of break it down more into the details, because I'm sure you got some awesome stuff to talk about. So looking
Yep.
at Solana, I got the weekly pulled up right now. And so for me, one of the big things I like to do is just kind of zoom out. Let's go ahead and look at some of these horizontal lines where we can find support and resistance level. And it seems to be kind of a trend with a lot of the cryptos right now that we're finding ourselves up to significant areas of resistance. And I see that kind of as a trend, just looking at all of them, right? So right now, looking at Solana, we're kind of in this zone. And I would say I just have a horizontal line here at about 85. Okay. So obviously there's going to be a little bit of a zone. There's going to be, a buffer here. But where do I come up with that? I come back to the left on the charts. I see at points it was resistance, and then at points it was support. You could see that we got to bounce off of that area, and then it came back up to the region of about 126 to 127. Now, understand between these two lines, very significant. Okay. It's about 45% between this orange line here and this pink line. So any movement in that range, it's going to be significant. So I'm not saying short term, but let's look long term, right? So it's very bullish right now. There's a lot of news behind it, and it's just moving. And if you come down, you look at the volume, you can see that the volume is still, for the most part, trending up and right. So people are still excited about it. Now, one of the things I want to point out too is looking at the chart prime indicator. You had a rising wedge here, and just look how powerful this tool can be. So if you zoom out, you go to the weekly. I know a lot of people don't like that. They get stuck between the daily and the 4 hour. But man, did it call this one, right? So it broke out of that rising wedge. And let's go ahead and measure it, right? Let's go ahead and take a look. From that wedge all the way up was 138%. Just think about that. Think about the gains there, and how powerful this tool. And what's nice about it is it drew it itself. I didn't have to do
Yeah.
this. So you've
Yeah,
seen it twice
absolutely. I
now on
love
two.
it. I love that.
I mean, that's amazing, especially for those that are new in the game, and you're trying to learn. You can turn this off, easily hide it, and then turn it back on and be like, "Oh yeah, all right, cool. Like I did find the right formation or the pattern." So, want to point these two levels out. I think this area right now, we're looking at an area of resistance at about 84. If we break that area, I can definitely see some upside movement up and right because I see this area here where you can see where there's support and obvious resistance on the weekly. So anywhere in that area is fair game. I would say wait for the break at this point. That would be what I would do personally. I'm not going to buy right here. I'm going to wait till we break this area and then I get that confirmation for continuation to the upside before I would make a play going long at least. Looking at it right now, it's too much bullish news for me to say I'm going to short here also because Solana is moving. And one of the things that, I kind of wanted to pose the question to the guys is Solana going to flip BNB at this point? Like its market cap is getting super, super close. Like is Solana, going to make that move? Is it really going to get up there almost like Cardano did last year or a couple years ago when it was like top 3 for the longest time? I think there's potential there. I think there's just so much bullish momentum behind it. So I'll go ahead and throw that over to you guys. See what you think.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that because I actually think that Solana has the potential of moving up to the number 3 and putting some pressure on Ethereum this bull run. I really
Yeah.
do. I know that sounds crazy. Guys, let me know down in the chat, what do you think? Is Solana going to make a run at Ethereum's dominance in the market in this bull run? Or do you think it's going to happen in the next bull run, or do you think no way at all? Let me know. 1, you think this bull run. 2, next bull run. 3, not a chance. So let me know in the chat what you guys think, and then we will get that going and see what you guys have to say about that. I want to go ahead and pull over my Solana real fast, and then OC, I want to get your input on what you see happening with Solana. As far verbally, we'll come back to this and talk about what you think is happening with Solana and what your opinion is of this bull run. But let's go ahead and take a look at my chart here. Looking at the Soul Train, as Tradefly said there, Soul Train moving along, guys. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart right here. Got my fibs up. We're going to do some other stuff here, but something I want to point out. I had this red box down here a long time ago when we were back in here. I was like, watch this red area. This is going to be our fight. This is going to be the kill box, and we'll call it, right? Setting up the objective. This is going to be the kill box. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen there. Every time that we got even slightly above this, above that 50% fib line, we kept coming back down. But every time we did, we hit the dynamic reactor. This dynamic reactor is part of the Market Oracle Pro of Chart Prime. Guys, it's absolutely amazing what it can do. It's a trampoline. When it touches, it bounces hard. So it is a very ramped up and fine-tuned, similar to an EMA with a whole bunch of other magic and voodoo in it from the developers over there. But it is fantastic. So you won't duplicate this anywhere with any type of EMAs or indicators out there. We got this last bounce off of it here. We came up, we rejected on at 50 again, but it did not lose the red box that time, and off it went. Currently right now sitting at $87.33. And even on the candles right now with this volatility, and well, they're dojis, that means uncertainty. When you see this next run is its chance. David Brumbelow, LF Be Real said 1. He thinks it's going to have a chance to do it. And Dave Brumbelow said 1 if it does this cycle. So yeah, a lot of people believe in what I'm seeing here too on it. Soul came back from the dead, man. If anything has got an underdog story in crypto right now, it is definitely Solana. What I'm going to be watching for on Solana, though, guys, is we have the 618 and the 0.66 here. This is the golden pocket on these fibs. That is coming in at $91.39 right now. Upside of that, $97.08. I'm thinking that the golden pocket is going to give us at least some consolidation and pullback areas. We could do a crazy wick up and hit that $100 mark, which would give that psychological rejection number also. Like, woohoo, we hit 100, I'm out, right? That could be the case too, but I think this golden pocket here is going to be where we see the next fight zone. Let's go ahead and put in a new one here, guys. To do this, just go over to your drawing tool, go down to rectangle, and we're just going to put one in here, right here in this kill box. Let's bring it over a way so that we have it in here for some time. And we're going to turn this red. And there we go. Now we have a new box. This one down here. now going to be turned to green so you guys can keep track of where we are in the game. Um, there is my box. There we go. Turn that one green too, because it's old. That's old data. So there we go. We now have a new kill box in here. I do think I want to extend this up to that $100 mark, just because we do have that psychological target there, and we'll bring that up to that. Now, some things that I'm seeing on the oscillators to go in with this right now. If we do come back down and we reject off of this 618, guys, I am going to be watching for this to happen. We come up, we reject on the 618, doesn't break into it. This is cycle number one that could happen. We come back down to the 50% line and we retest this previous resistance range, or previous resistance range is now going to be support. That would be a very bullish retest for me, and I would look at that $75.39 range. As long as there's no super FUD coming out, this would be what I would be watching for us to get back up there and get a movement. I see OC guy. I'm not sure what happened to him over here, but OC, if you're still
Pimp
there,
down.
pimp down, pimp down. We're gonna drive on here though. Yeah, it says something about source selected. No source selected for your camera, bro. So yeah, this is what I'll be watching there is that pull back down to that $75 mark. Good retest of support there, and then off it would go again. One thing that I do see concern on the oscillators here, one, we're starting to get a smaller candle type here on the RSI Prime, and we are looking like we're getting ready to get a ribbon twist here on the Oscillator Pro. Signal line buried deep into the top here. This is a prime setup for a pullback on all of the oscillators in addition. So, especially with the doji candle, when you see that body is in the middle of wicks, big wick on top and bottom, that is a doji candle. That usually indicates that there is market uncertainty on this asset. But something that I want to pull out. We've had pullbacks before here, guys. We had the ribbon flip back here. We even had a downtrend arrow print on the oscillator. We had that thinning of the ribbons on the candles, and then down it would come, and it would fall down to the bottom again. Well, that really, at that point, if you take a look here, and we're going to go the worst extremes, that was a 15% move. And then it turned around and got an entire movement from that touch again of 32%. And every time that we pulled back, we've gone higher. We're creating higher lows and higher highs. This is still a bullish structure. So even with the pullback, like everyone has said here on the team right now, all the professors here up on the stage, they've all said right now I would not be buying in. I would wait for a pullback or a retest somewhere, but we are still bullish on Solana. I called this out earlier in the week where I was talking about these, and I said, I am bullish on Solana. The structure right now is looking healthy. We're getting good retests of support. It is continuing to the upside. Be watching for a possible another rejection, giving us another pullback and a higher low again for more upside. That's what I got for Solana. OC, what are you seeing on Solana? What's your take? Solana, what happens this next bull run? Where does Solana sit? It is October 2025. My 5-year plan to be at $1 million or greater by September 2025 has occurred. We're looking good. Everyone's taking profits. Where is Solana on the market cap?
All right, so regardless of what happens, I believe Solana is gonna keep being top 20. I mean, that is my call for whatever happens in this cycle. It's well, except one thing, which is basically a horrendous hack in the, in the deep down within Solana, right? But so far, I don't believe that is the case. But other than that, Solana has been pushing forward. It's been doing things right. It has kept, the finger right there on all important points. I mean, right now they had their phone. They're associated with Bonk. I mean, so on and so forth, right? They do have the potential, and as you mentioned, they came from the dead. So that is a very strong point, especially in the crypto market where we can see meme coins just taking off like crazy. But once we start seeing that cleaning of those old coins with old technology, I believe that Solana still had a bright future. Where do I see it on the on the ranking? I'll say probably top top 10, top 5 at that point. I believe that that's going to be their living point at the end of this cycle.
Okay, I can go with that. I can go with that. Um, So I think we're all in agreement that it definitely moves up in the market cap. I just think that where it's going to be at, we're not quite there yet. We're gonna have to come back and retest this conversation a little bit and see if our opinions change over the months ahead. But me, I am of the mindset that Solana is putting pressure on Ethereum for dominance. If everything continues the way Solana's going right now, I think there's a lot more momentum on the Solana train. The Soul train is moving, and I do think that there's a lot of FUD that keeps coming out, especially with the ETHgate haters on the XRP army side, the XRP army. So, yeah, that's what I think there. Any final things that you want to put out there before we take off? Trade flag, go.
Yeah, man, not a whole lot to add there. I think that really brings up the great debate with Soul, the centralization aspect of it. And I think that people are starting to not care like they used to. Because the whole thing of getting into crypto a long time ago was it was decentralized. And now it's like Soul's working. Soul's very efficient, it's fast, there's low fees. And I think that's ultimately, like you said, why it's gonna really put pressure on Ethereum because the fees, people are just tired of it. It's unreliable a lot of times, especially when there's high network traffic. So I'm totally on board with that notion that Solana is really going to make a push here in the next bull run.
Awesome. Awesome. Yep. Great content today, guys. Good share. Folks, if you guys enjoyed this content today and you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right over there. Hit that like and get notified every time that we go live by hitting that bell. We appreciate you guys joining us here today. Also, if you guys did not look down below, there is links down below. You can get 45% off your first monthly or quarterly subscription to Chart Prime. Over there, OC Guy and I do 6 live classes per week on mentor coaching and teaching you guys how to use the chart prime indicators and how to just trade using technical analysis in general. So if you're not part of that, you can get 45% off down below. And then lastly, if you have not done so, you can check out Legendary Aviation Coffee, 10% off in the links down below, right there above OC's head. And then, of course, you need to go and follow all of those X handles up there, Army Piper, the real OCG, and Tradefly 8. We appreciate you guys joining us here today on Piper Academy. Happy to have the alumni. Guys, we just got better stuff coming. The show is going to be growing. I've got a new studio being built, and we are going to be cranking out so much content. You guys are going to be trying to figure out what's falling off of your watch list because we're putting out so much over here on Piper Academy. When knowledge is profit, we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Till then, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
That was awesome, dude!